Hello, I'm Trace, and these are my co-hosts,
I'm Rudy.
I'm Jackson.
Creed.
Andrew.
and welcome to Cinema Sitdown. Welcome back to Cinema Sitdown, where we watch movies and talk about them for a bit. Today we watched one of my favorite movies ever, Shin Kamen Rider. It is a remake of the original 1971 series Kamen Rider, and is done by the man who did Evangelion, Shin Godzilla, and Shin Ultraman. Of course, he put his own spin on it, but in this movie, Takeshi Hongo has to protect a young woman from the evil Shocker organization, and hopefully save humanity along the way.
僕の名はライダー仮面ライダーと名乗らせてもらう。
君は組織が開発した昆虫合成型オーグメンテーションプロジェクトの最高傑作だ。
これを被ると暴力の加減がまるでできなくなる。
その辛さをあなたが背負うことで誰かが幸せになってる。誰かを守って戦うとはそういうことでしょ。
今から政府公認のアンチショッカー同盟だ。
ではお見せしよう。変身。
人は人を信じることで生き延びてきた。
他人を信じることで裏切られてもきた。
僕は人を守りたいと思う。自分の心を信じる。
ショッカーに生まれし者はショッカーに帰る。それが筋よね。
あなたも同じオーグメントなのに、この幸せがなぜわからんのです。
裏切りペアが必ず殺す。
やはり人間は面白い。
さあ、レッツパーティー。
俺は俺なりのやり方で人類を救う仮面ライダー第0号だ。
あなたのプラン、魂の自由を取り戻して。あなたを信じて、あなたに託す。仮面ライダー本郷武さん。
Welcome back. Like I said, this is one of my favorite movies ever. I've been a big fan of the series ever since I discovered it in, I think, 2015. I started on one of the less popular ones, though, but I will die on a hill for that one. Right off the bat, I think one of my favorite things is the revamped designs of the original Kamen Rider 1 and Kamen Rider 2. They did a really good job, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think the designs in this movie are just sick across the board. Just really cool. Just like the animal inspired, like the insect inspired stuff is just all really cool. The masks are really cool. The actual outfits themselves, like all the practical stuff. I'm gonna be talking a lot. All the practical stuff about this movie is so cool. I love it. It's fantastic. Costuming, fantastic. I feel like even like the costuming is like good without like not with the Kamen Rider forms and like the Og forms. I think even just the costuming in general is really strong in this movie.
Like the main heroine of the movie, Ruriko, she has a really cool like trench coat combo going on.
No, I think everyone in this movie just looks awesome. Everyone looks so cool in this movie. They all have like the best fits possible.
Right, and I think the masks were awesome. This was my first experience with this franchise ever, but it was really cool to see like the different animals and like all the colors involved with the costuming, and it only makes me want to engage with the series more.
I didn't even know this existed until Trace picked this. Thank you, Trace. It's a W.
I think in terms of like the villains, the Ogs, my favorite one unfortunately dies first. Spider Og, or Spider-Man as he's called in the original show, killed within like 5 minutes of meeting him, but he has like the coolest design in my opinion.
Yeah. I guess if we're going off that, I think, God, what am I like the I like the two girls. I like Scorpion Og and Wasp Og the most. They're my two favorites. I think they're both very well-defined characters. even though despite the fact that Scorpion Augie has even less screen time than Spider, but she gets like this whole dedicated like action scene, and it's awesome. Like all the action in this movie is wild and insane, and like the coolest action in like any movie I've ever seen. But I really like those two in particular.
Less screen time, but her actress really chewed the scenery.
No, she's like really good.
Yeah.
For like the probably less than 5 minutes of screen time she has. She's like, boom, big character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think my favorite was definitely Waspog. I liked the colors. I liked how it almost looked like Bumblebee. And it was easily my favorite fight.
Yeah, no, for sure.
With a close second to Spider-Og, but
I really like how they portrayed like a super speed battle with her too. Kind of like an almost stop motion-y animation to it.
I was a really big fan of the bat. The bat one.
Yeah, he was cool.
You like Bat-Og?
I think his face. It was just his face was so creepy, but I really liked it. The nose just like on his forehead. How bats are, but
I think it really helps to make him stand out that he was one of the few that didn't have like the mechanized mask.
He's the only one with that one.
Yeah.
Well, Scorpion
I
kind
guess
of had
Scorpion,
one.
yeah. No, Scorpion isn't either.
She
but
still
like,
had kind of like tech on her.
yeah, on the back.
The only like design that I thought all the designs were cool except when we got to Butterfly, and then I'm like, man, I thought this would have been cooler if it like grew wings or something. Like it did get cool like during when it like he took off his robe and stuff, and then I'm like, oh, like butterfly wings should have came out, or like antennas, eyes for antennas, or be cool.
I kind of agree on the wings because like there was with Waspog they had moments where like the energy bursting out of her looked like wasp wings, and they didn't really do that with him, unfortunately.
Yeah.
In terms of characters that I really, really liked once they finally introduced him, Ichimonji, when he was finally pushed in, is like Hongo kind of has like a whole angst thing going on the whole movie, which is true to how the original show was, but he also had moments of like levity in the original show since it was episodic and everything.
Right.
And then you don't really get that until Ichimonji walks into the movie, is when you kind of get more of like a wisecracker.
Yeah, I also really like Ichimonji, and especially for the fact that he's like introduced like really late into the story. It feels like he makes a really good impression despite the fact, because like he's in the last like 45 minutes, right? So he only has that amount of time to make like a huge impact. And I think this is something about this movie, is that it does a really good job at like introducing characters and like making them very distinctive from each other, because again, like we talked about with the villains, they're all so distinct and they all feel very like iconic in their own sort of way. And I think this movie does a really good job of like showing different characters and how they're different, and how I don't know, I love how this movie introduces all their characters and how effective it is with like characterizing them within the limited time that limited 2 hours that they have.
Yeah.
I also think it's a little surprising that he's only in the last 45 minutes, considering in the show he was introduced in episode 14, because unfortunately the main actor for Hongo got into a big motorcycle wreck and had to leave the show for a good chunk of time.
That's crazy.
Is that irony? I don't even know, but that's interesting that's what happened to him.
This is just a fun fact, but the actor for Hongo, if you guys have seen like the Segata Sanshiro commercials for
Sega Saturn commercials?
Yeah, the Sega Saturn.
That's the same
him.
guy.
Okay.
It's very fun.
And he did eventually come back to the show, but it took like, I think, over 30 episodes with Ichimonji for him to finally come back. But I actually kind of like that. That's another thing that this movie does, is that it is more of Hongo's story, since he did have to leave so early in the original Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I did like the acting as well.
For sure.
I do think there's quite a few moments though with Hongo's actor where he kind of looks like I hate to say this, but he kind of looks like a shaking chihuahua at times.
But like I like that decision personally. I actually really like Hongo's acting throughout the movie. I think he feels very well defined. Like I feel like I understand everything this character is, given what we're given, even though he's like, again, he's a bit angsty, but he just has so much humanity I guess is the way to describe it. It's like he feels very human in that way. Because like when he's like crying on the beach there, it's an ugly cry. That's that's a believable crying scene if I've ever seen one, I think.
Speaking of that, I am glad they did give him that scene, because unfortunately it was a mandate in the original show that your hero never cry on screen. He wasn't allowed to be vulnerable, because he's supposed to be the big superhero for kids. And when a lot of his writing in the original story is like, this man is a very depressed, traumatized man, I feel like he should have a scene or two to cry. Because kind of the main story that's also in this movie is that Takeshi Hongo was just a regular guy before becoming Kamen Rider. And then he got into a motorcycle crash, captured by Shocker, had all of his insides ripped out and replaced with mechanical parts. And has been turned into a monster basically against his will. No one talked to him about like going through with this or anything. And I would say it's arguably worse than the original show, though, considering they got rid of the biggest problem with Shocker in this movie. Is in the original show, it was an offshoot of the Nazis.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that's why you saw like the eagle as kind of like the only remaining reference to that.
Yeah.
And I wonder why that is. Why they decided to remove that.
I mean,
that
I feel
iconography, because I feel like they're already very evil in the movie, but like.
I just feel like it's mostly a modernization thing.
I guess, yeah.
Like, maybe it's just... I know, unfortunately, they're, like, pretty prominent here, but, like, maybe in Japan they're not as prominent anymore. They don't maybe have that many... anything like that.
I guess, and there's also, like, the proximity with the original to World War II, because it was only, like, a 30-year difference at that point in time, and now it's a much longer time frame. I really want to talk about the cinematography in this movie.
Yeah, me too.
Because I love how this movie looks.
I'm just curious.
It does a really good job of like emulating that classic style, where again you get like the repeating shots that are really fun.
Yeah.
You get the really fun angles like at the doors, like where you have the overhead or like the beneath. I just think it's so playful with the camera, and I really like that.
Yeah, all I can think about the whole time is like, are we supposed to be so aware of where the cameras are? Because it is really like shameless, and they place them like, there's so many shots where they set something down on a table and it shakes the camera, and it's like on the ground and it literally gets kicked over, or like all those like GoPro type shots where it was just like, I've never seen anything. If it was like a YouTube video to me in a way, it kind of felt like watching like a really high budget YouTube video, like not in a bad way, but it just had me like really questioning the budget and what year this was made. When I figured out it was 2023, I was like mind blown, because I thought it was like Power Rangers back in the day. Like I thought this was old when I first saw it. Or like, relative, like early 2000s.
Well, to be fair, it is emulating the style of the original show, because the original show is also shot and edited just like this.
It took
from
me
my understanding of it,
a
at
minute
least.
to pick up on that. Like,
to kind of give you an answer, the original show had like the budget of a shoestring, so they had to make do with what they had, and thankfully it got popular to keep going on. But I believe his name is Hideaki Anno. That's the
director of this one, of this movie.
Went out of his way to recreate like almost shot for shot with a lot of like the AUG fights. So
really?
Like you saw like those kind of like weird moments where it's like the repeating shots, like where they would teleport to a completely different location. All done because he wanted to be that faithful to the original show.
That's really cool. I think trying to maintain a style that's like built on being low budget with a high budget is actually really cool, because you could like see they were placing lots of money in really specific spots. I guess I don't know.
I feel like that's part of the magic with these tokusatsu, which is like the overarching genre, I guess, of these sort of things, that like a lot of the times these are like lower budget affairs, like historically at least they have been, and so I find it so fun to just like be able to like pick out I wonder how they did that, and then I can like sort of like put it in my head like as I'm watching. Is like, okay, maybe that's how they did this. And I just think that's really cool. It's just it's a really cool expression of like filmmaking within limits, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And I just really enjoy it.
The moment I like saw like this guy with the bug guy, the main character, I was like, oh yeah, this is Power Rangers, or like this is inspired by Power Rangers.
This is not inspired. This is
what
inspired
Power Rangers.
Well, inspired. This is very Power Rangers.
Because this is from the 70s.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Japanese equivalent was late 70s. And then that was later adapted into Power Rangers.
Is it the same production company?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
It is Toei.
Yeah.
Toei.
Company.
Yeah, I saw that.
The inspiration for Kamen Rider came from, like, I guess at some point in, like, I believe the 60s, Japan and Marvel got together.
Yeah.
And they made a Spider-Man show for Japan.
And it was awesome.
It was awesome.
Something I've seen.
He had a giant robot in that show. But
And
that
it's awesome.
they eventually had to stop the show. I don't know if it was due to ratings or just like a contract running out.
I think it was just a contractual thing.
Yeah, but after that, they were like, well, we need something to fill like this void, because everyone really likes the bug superhero, and that's when they got the director of that show to make Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little history of this micro genre.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was popular enough that it has been going on for about 55 years now. I believe they just hit their 55th anniversary this year.
I'm definitely gonna go home and probably watch the original show because
yeah.
it's free right now, so I'm gonna have to.
Its newest show is also completely free on YouTube, and that's not sponsored, but go watch it.
I was gonna say
it's on here. Go check it out. Watch this movie too, though.
Yeah, watch this movie too.
Yeah, it's a really good movie.
What else can we say?
I've got plenty to talk about.
If I had to make one minor nitpick, it's that sometimes with Mr. Ano, he can kind of get a little philosophical. And I don't think that's a bad thing, but there are some times where he's like really going into it that makes me kind of sit there and go like, what are we talking about?
I can agree, but I also like that style. So I like Ano's work. I like how he writes. So I'm just used to it at this point where it's like, yeah, that's.
If I had gone
into
this, if I had gone into this movie without seeing Shin Godzilla or Evangelion, I probably would have been sitting there the whole time being like, what is going on?
Well, I mean, like, there's like. I feel like this is also a thing with like the expository dialogue. I feel like that's like my big, like, I say a big issue, but like I don't have a lot of issues with this movie, but I think that's like the big one. That's like there's just so much expository dialogue that it's like a bit overwhelming at points, and I feel like you don't need a good portion of it to really kind of get what's going on.
It almost seems like they were trying to. I mean, obviously they were trying to lay the groundwork for like a series and a sequel, and so I think this would have served as like them laying everything out as a foundation to be able to build on it later. And it obviously, I don't know. I mean, it's been 3 years, but I don't know if they're going to.
Maybe it's like due to like the structure, because this movie's almost like structured like a compilation movie almost of like just like a series of like, again, like the fights with each AUG is like each individual episode. So I'm wondering if like they have, where like in a TV show you'd be able to split out that exposition more so between the episodes. I'm sure, yeah.
They did actually do that. I know there's like an episodic version that has like a few extra scenes from what I've heard.
Okay.
I haven't actually gotten to see it, unfortunately, but
I'd be curious to watch that and see like how my opinion on the expository dialogue changes, because there's there's like this movie starts big wild car motorcycle chase. Kamen Rider kills a bunch of people, kills a bunch of like goons, and it's the coolest thing ever. The second I knew this movie was going to be awesome was when Takeshi does a front flip, crushes two dudes' skulls into the dirt, and it's like, yeah, okay.
Man,
this movie's gonna be
speaking
rad.
of that, I just wanted to say like those guys like they would kill, like they had like 1 HP. Like most of the guys in the like literally the goons, like he said, and then one of the villains. I was like, dang, these people have like 1 HP on them.
They also explode on touch.
But it's like again, one of those things like, this movie's cool.
Yeah, like just overdone blood.
No, yeah, it's like weirdly like hyper violent. Like you forget about it like in between the fight scenes, but then you get back to it, it's like, oh shoot.
Then you see a geyser of blood fly out.
But it's like so cool.
Just the overdone the combat in general. Like he flips, but then he'll cut halfway. He'll flip again.
It's great.
It's just super overdone, and I
They
love
use
it.
those flips.
And it makes me sad for the final fight because to me that looked like a glorified jiu-jitsu match, and I wish there was more.
See, I kind of like how that one is like really down to earth, as like they're like debating their philosophies in life. I like how it's not as extreme in that way, because it kind of grounds the moment. It's like, oh shoot, these are two men like debating life philosophy.
And to me that's true, and to me it didn't seem like it didn't seem like those were the two most powerful in our movie going at it. It seemed like they were just talking and while like kind of rolling around on each other. And I don't know, I think that's the only nitpick I have about the movie, because other than all the other combat scenes were amazing to me.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I would love to talk more about this movie, but we are unfortunately running out of time. So let's start getting like ratings, starting with you, Rudy.
Okay, I will say this movie was probably I'll say a 7 out of 10 for me, mainly because I feel like I'm very new to this kind of stuff in general, not just like this franchise, but this style, and I thought it was like so interesting, just like how it is all made up, like everything that makes it up is very new to me, and I don't know, it was very intriguing. 7 out of 10 for sure.
I agree with a lot of Rudy's points, but I am maybe less critical, so I'm gonna go 8 out of 10.
I am incredibly biased for this film. It is one of my favorite series. It's helped me through a lot of tough times when I was feeling really stressed. This movie is a very solid 9.5 out of 10 for me.
I'd give it the IGN 7.8. It was, isn't that what it is? IGN 7? Okay. Anyway. Yeah, it was pretty good. There was some like cheesy moments, but you know, that's okay. Sometimes we need a little cheese. So yeah.
I actually rated this lower on my first. This is my first rewatch. I'm rating this. This is definitely a higher rating for me now. I think I'm up to I was at an 8 before, and now I'm up to a 9 after rewatching it and like knowing like how it goes and like what's going on. I feel like I'm able to, I don't know, appreciate it more. I don't know how to phrase it, but I liked it a lot more in my second. I don't know if a lot more, but I liked it more on my second rewatch, or my first rewatch.
Wow. Thank you all for joining us today. This has been Cinema Sit Down, and I hope you all have a good rest of your evening.
Yep. Right.